Very good morning to all of you. So we are back here with the session. Before we go with the barriers of communication, we're just going to discuss about 7 C's of communication. Like what are the 7 C's of communication and why they are important in communication. You see, we all know, we all communicate with each other. We all know how to talk, how to present ourselves, but still there are few things which makes us or a good speaker different from each other. What is that? Whenever we pick someone to represent a company, to represent a school, to represent a college, we doesn't give chance to any random person whom we select. Why? There are many reasons. Some are good in presentation, some are not good in their presentation. Some speak well, some listens well, some present themselves well, some prepare the content well. So there are a lot of different things due to which all people are not considered as good speaker. So today we will be discussing about 7 C's of communication. Like when you are communicating, what are the things which you should keep in mind? Like as you can see on the screen, there is one diagram which shows 7 C's. Like the information which you are sharing should have all these things. What are these things? It says the information should be correct, it should be complete, concrete, concise, consideration should be there, courteous and clear. Why these 7 things are important when you are delivering your content, when you are delivering your message? Why these 7 C's are important? What do you think? What is the importance of having these 7 C's while communicating? Like why information should be correct? What's the use of saying it should be correct? Why we cannot deliver any random fact or figure without validating its truthfulness, without validating that the information is right or wrong? Why we need to have a complete information? Why incomplete information should not be shared? So we will be discussing about these things. The first thing says completeness. It says The communication must be complete. It should convey all facts required by the audience. It is saying whenever you are delivering your information, whenever you are passing on your information from one person to another, make sure that the message you are delivering is complete. Let's say, for example, you are sharing the information related to what all prices you will be quoting for some requirement which is being sent by one of your clients. So now while quoting the prices, you should make everything very clear, and as in along with the prices, if you have different varieties of that thing, let's say for example, the quotation which you have to send is for the grains, for the pulses. So if you have three different types of pulses having three different rates, you need to be very clear that either for specific quality, that is very good quality, what prices you have quoted, or for the second or the third grade quality, what prices you have quoted. You have to write there clearly specifying the quality along with the price. Now, when you, if someone orders, place the order with you, you'll be delivering that, you'll be needing some transportation facility. So what transportation facility you will be using and who is going to bear that expense? Even that also you should specify and you should mention very clearly to avoid any kind of confusion. You should know your audience that what exactly they want you to deliver. So for quotation, obviously the client would like to know who's going to bear the transportation cost. What price you will be quoting if we buy. Let's say, for example, for minimum quantity, you have some specific price. Like if person orders less than 50 kgs, you have some price. But if he orders more than 50 kg, the price again get reduced. If you do not want to mention the price, that is all up to you, but still you can mention this as a note that if you increase the quantity by more than 50%, the price will be charging here is going to differ. And we can mention that thing, we can clarify that thing. So that makes your information complete. Now, when you will share the complete information, the information will reach the receiver. The flow, the time taken during the communication is going to reduce because already everything, all the doubts which can come in the mind of receiver is already been clear. Nothing has been left. So this makes your information complete. This saves your time and the receiver gets the detailed, complete information about the thing he has inquired. The sender must take into consideration the receiver's mindset features like no crucial information is missing, given additional information, and leaves no question. If you have any question related to anything, let's say you are still not clear what kind of pulses are they looking for, they are willing to take all kinds of pulses or not, you can contact them before presenting your final estimation or before presenting your final quotation. You can contact them, you can clarify, and then you can present your quotation. Don't leave any room, any space of miscommunication. Let's say you have added only pulses, you have not mentioned the names individually. It is going to create a lot of confusion that what pulses you have mentioned. For example, the client may take it, the receiver may take it as a standard rate for any pulses which he orders. So don't leave for any kind of miscommunication. Give additional information like we gave that if you increase the quantity by more than 50 kgs, the price are going to change. There will be some additional discounts which will be offered if quantity is ordered more than 50 kg. That should be in a one go. It cannot be divided into different parts. and don't leave any space for confusion or for question in the mind of the receiver. And then that can only be done when you understand the receiver, the client's question, what the receiver wants you to answer. That's how you need to make your information complete. Second says conciseness. Now, conciseness here means, it means wordiness, communicating what you want to convey in least possible words. See here, no one, in today's time, no one has time to go through your entire detailed essay. Right? They do not have time that I buy grains from here, I then go on through this process, I then go through this process. If he wants to know, if receiver wants to know this information, he'll ask. If you don't want to know the information, leave that. Don't present that in your quotation. Don't write that thing in your quotation. Don't add any unnecessary information, just making your message lengthy, because no one will read that thing. And when your message becomes very lengthy, even the crucial information, even the important information is being skipped from the mind of the receiver. So make sure that the information you are sharing, the message you are sharing, has the least words should be there, but complete message should be there. It should not be that once it's so least word should be there, so we are not adding the message completely, we are just highlighting some of the points. No, message should be complete, but avoid using unnecessary words, unnecessary sentences, which is going to stretch your message. You're not supposed to stretch your message. So what are the features, like what, how you can create a concise message is, first things is highlight the main message. If you have written something in points, make sure you are using some highlighters to highlight the main points or the phrases or the words in your message, so that at least those points catch your attention. You know, many times it happens, so we have made a concise message, but still the message is a bit long. In that situation, if you use the highlighters, if you highlight the word, it becomes easy for you to make your main points understandable, presentable to the receiver. Along with that, it becomes easy for the receiver to understand and to not to skip any of the crucial or the main information. Second point says, avoid using excessive and needless words. Just for the, what we used to do during our examination, which most of the people may still be doing, that for us it used to be that college exams means we need to write lengthy answers. So what we used to do, we used to just repeat the same meaning with different lines 2-3 times. Make sure you're not doing that thing when you're here. There also, the length of the answer doesn't give you marks. It's the quality of the answer you are writing. Here also, it should be the quality thing. Unnecessary words, excessive words should be completely avoided from your communication part. That should not be there at any cost. These unnecessary words, excessive and needless words will make your crucial and important information go in vain. The receiver might not focus on that information just by reading your entire message. Next point says, provide short and essential message in limited word. If the message can be short, it can be just winded up, can be completed in just 3-4 lines, go for that. Don't simply prefer extending the message. Receiver will be very happy if he receives entire information in just 5-6 lines. He'll be happy. Because just think, if you are waiting for the feedback and if you get a long 2-3 page essay for your feedback, you won't be happy to read that. But If the message is short, you'll be reading that, you'll understand the context also. So make sure you are not using excessive words, use limited words, provide the essential message, and complete your message. Message becomes appealing and comprehensible to the audience. Obviously, when it is short, containing all the brief, detailed information about the things, it becomes appealing and comprehensible. And message is non-repetitive in nature. Yes, that's what I told, just to extend the message that I have shared such big message. Don't use repetitive words or phrases carrying the same meaning. It is non-repetitive in nature. That means it should be concise, the second thing. Third point says consideration. Now, what is exactly consideration? Consideration means take note of audience viewpoint, background, mindset, education level, etc. Whenever we are communicating, let's say I am presenting my information to you all. Okay, as a trainer, I am here to provide you training on some specific topics. For you, the content which I have made, the presentation which I have made, the way I'm delivering is going to be entirely different if someday I have an audience who's your faculty, or maybe someone from the corporate world who's already into the organization, who's already into the corporate culture, who's already working. For them, the content, the mode of delivery, the style of delivery, everything is going to change. So you need to know the background of the people, the audience. Everything should be known so that you can prepare an effective message. Now, how audience viewpoint, background, mindset, education play important role? Let's say while drafting the message, as we all know, we take English as the common language. There are still many people who are not aware about, who are not comfortable in reading English. The message which you communicate using English as a mode of communication, it becomes difficult for them to understand those things. Maybe not that. Some people doesn't belong from technical field. So using technical words, jargons, using short forms, abbreviations, those things might not explain the entire context of your meaning. So that purpose, you need to know the audience, like from which background, mindset, educational qualification they belong, so that you present your message, you prepare your message in that way only, so that the audience is benefited. Being a communicator, being the sender of the message, your ultimate goal is not to draft the message with best words, with best phrases. No, your ultimate goal is to make sure that your message is clearly understood and reached the receiver. That is the ultimate goal of the communicator. That is the ultimate goal of the person who is sharing the information.
Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am.
Envisage your audience, their requirement, emotions, and problems. So it again comes knowing your audience, like who are the audience to whom you are going to address. Do not hurt self-respect and emotions of the audience. Another one of the important reason is, many times we use some examples related to culture, backgrounds. Those should be avoided if you think that can hurt the respect or the emotion of the audience. You're not supposed to use okay. Yes, Abhishek.
Ma'am, I have a question. Ma'am, that in e-commerce site, if we explain a product, so we do not get the idea about which type of audience who are reading, whether they are literate or illiterate. Then should we explain in easiest way of communication?
Abhishek, can you please check your microphones because you are not audible, dear?
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear?
I think there's some problem with the microphone. Can you go with the chat or you can rejoin? Okay, dear. So Abhishek, do one thing, either rejoin or you can use the chat box to get the answer to your question. Okay, Abhishek, you can just post the question there. Let me just complete with consideration, then we'll answer your query. Till that time, just post the question in the chat box, okay? Yeah. So the third point which we were discussing of the audience. Now, knowing audience here carries one more very important reason that whatever content you are designing, it should not hurt the emotions or their self-respect. Avoid using such things which you think that your audience might not like. For that purpose also, you need to know your audience. Very small example that for today's generation, for the youth of the country, if we are designing a content, let's say we are designing a content related to, it's a communication only. So here, if we are explaining about the cultures, like different cultures have different ways, from people belong to uh, different regions. Some might not know English, they're not comfortable in knowing, or they cannot read or write English. But same thing, we cannot communicate with the person who are, okay. Abhishek, just 2 minutes, we'll get back to this question. Let me just finish up consideration, right? We'll answer this question. Okay, so many times what happens if we are having a audience, let's say who are age 45 plus, there if we are using, we are focusing on the English language, and let's say they all are very patriotic person, they all are very closely linked with our own mother tongue, that is Hindi. So they're using English as a mode of communication, they might not be interested in listening to you. So that's the reason you need to know your audience before presenting your message and modify your words to suit the audience need. That's what I told. Depending upon the audience, your presentation style, your words, your presentation content, everything is going to differ. It cannot be same for every person to whom you contact or whom comes in touch with you. You need to change, even in the organization, if a leader is delivering the information to 10 different individuals in his team, he may have to change the way he is speaking with different people to make them understand what he's trying to convey to them. So that happens with the audience also. Different set of audience need different types of words, presentation, understanding. So we have to, being a speaker, being a communicator, being the sender, you need to understand their need first, and then you have to work accordingly, because for you, your ultimate motive is not to deliver the best which you think is best, but to deliver something which is easily understandable by the audience. Okay, getting back to your question there. E-commerce side, in e-commerce side, if we explain a product, we do not have the idea of which type of audience sees it. Then should we explain there in the easiest form of communication without using any harder English. Right there, Abhishek, that's what we have been saying, that jargon words having different meanings, words which are fancy. The today's generation is in habit of using fancy words to communicate their message. They're least bothered, like we are least bothered whether other person is going to understand that or not. But if you're going with the social side, if you really want that your information should be communicated clearly to the customers, to the person seeing your description, going through your product, you need to use your simple English. Simple words which can easily be understandable by each and every person who can read English. Because for you, if your target audience is only the youth, you may end up using some fancy, some harder words, but you never know who is willing to buy your product. Just because of improper communication, just because of using some words which are not easily understandable by other person, they might not get your meaning and they simply end up searching somewhere else for your products, right? For example, a person who used lot of fancy words to give you feedback, those feedbacks, honestly speaking, the seller also doesn't go through if that feedback is very long, having lot of different technicals or different jargon words which are not easily understandable, right? Even we do not go through such big and such fancy feedbacks. Same way, when the person is going to check your product, he needs some clear information, point to point information, and the correct information, which is easily understandable, for which he doesn't have to search on Google, he doesn't have to ask other person at what that message, what that description exactly means, right? Just for a very small example, there are two things: return or exchange, right? For that, you need to give the clear instruction that whether the product is returnable and the amount will be credited back, or it is only replaceable, where the amount is not going to be credited back. You can just replace that product, but the product is not returnable. Use the right word. Many times, what happens when we see the icons there, it shows returnable, but in description it clearly says the product is non-returnable. It can only be replaced within the specified days. That should not be there. That information is not complete and creating miscommunication. Okay, dear. Whenever you are communicating with a large group of people, it's very difficult to understand their audience background, mindset, education level. So go with this simple language, simple words, which can easily be understood by all the people who are listening or who are reading your message. Next point after consideration is concreteness. Now here, concreteness is an important aspect of communication because it means being specific, defined, and vivid rather than vague and general. Don't provide any general casual information. If someone has asked you for any kind of information, you need to be very specific. Let's take the example of the doctors. We just cannot go there and say that, doctor, we are suffering from cold and cough, just give us medicine. He's not going to do that until and what happened, what symptoms you are feeling, how you got fever, how high the fever was. Did you took any medicine? From how long the fever is? He needs a specific, defined information to treat you. Without having the detailed information, he cannot treat you. And this medical profession is the best example where the doctor asks for the detailed information. For some diseases, he even asks for your family history, family background, that whether someone in your family has gone through that thing or not. So whenever you are communicating, make sure you are specific, defined, vivid, rather than vague and general. Don't present any general information. General information, in the first we were discussing about completeness, and we just took an example of the quotation. Just don't go with the general information, general message saying that, okay, you can order product from us. We are going to give you the best price in the market. Now, what does that best price means? It's a generalized statement. Now, when a client, when the customer is reaching to you, is approaching you to deal with you, he needs the defined and the specific information. He needs to know what exactly the prices you are going to quote if I'm going to order in bulk. He did not need a general information that you are going to give the best prices, that he already know. You already know that with whomsoever wholesaler or the manufacturer is going to contact, if he's ordering in bulk, he will get the good prices. But what does that good price mean? Let's say, for example, 1 kg of pulses you are offering for 50 rupees if you are ordering in a bulk. That is a good price for you, but from some other place, you might be getting it for rupees 45. You need to be specific with the pricing, that this is the price which I am going to quote. You cannot decide whether you are quoting the best price in the market or not. You are not aware that you are quoting the lowest price in the market. So you cannot go with the generalized statement saying we will be delivering you the best quality, will be giving you the best price. Come on, we are here to know your best price only. So make sure you are specific and defined. Be particular and clear rather than fuzzy and general. Again, the same thing, you need to be very particular and clear about the information which the client has asked you. It strengthens the confidence. Yes, it is going to strengthen the confidence in you, because the receiver will think that the person always presents the clear information rather than presenting some incomplete, unclear, vague, or the general information. When information is specific, definitely it is going to create confidence, build confidence. Concrete message are not misinterpreted. That is right. If the message is concrete, there is no scope of misinterpretation of that message. So this means concrete message. Next C in communication says courtesy. Show sender's expression and respect to the receiver. You need to show your gratitude. You need to show respect with your emotion, with your words, with your expression. Everything should show your respect. It should not be that your expressions are something else, your face is speaking something else, your body language is speaking something else, and your words are speaking something else. That is going to create a confusion whether actually you are respecting, or it's just you are trying to respect, but your body language isn't supporting you. So make sure you show your respect with your words and expression also. The sender of the message should be sincerely polite, judicious, reflective, and enthusiastic. He should have all these things when he is communicating his message, when he is communicating with any other person. You know, sender plays a very important role. Many times we might not offer the best price, we might not quote the best price, but the nature, the gratitude, the respect, the expression, the politeness, the enthusiastic nature which we have, attracts the client and bring it towards to us as our client, even though if our price is bit high. So here it's not just only about the price we are quoting, it is also about the way you are presenting, you are talking to other person, your politeness, your gratitude, your expression, your respect, your body language. All these things should have a positive impact rather than carrying any kind of negativity in your words or in your body language. Features for courtesy says, taking into consideration both viewpoints and feelings of the receiver. You need to consider both the things. You need to consider the viewpoints. Along with that, you need to consider the feelings of the receiver, like what exactly he wants and how is he feeling. Courteous message is positive and focused at the audience. It should be positive. It should be audience focused. Using terms showing respect for the receiver of the message. You should always show respect in your message as well when you are communicating. With this, we have completed 5 C's. There are 2 more C's which we are going to discuss in the next session, that is clarity and correctness. We'll be discussing these 2 points in the next session. Today, why I took the 7 C's, because today we are discussing, like in the past session, we were discussing about the barriers of communication. Now, these all things also act as a barrier of communication. If the information is not complete, it is a barrier to communication. It's not clear, it is a barrier for the communication because the receiver is not going to understand the exact and the detailed meaning. We'll be completing those 2 C's in the next session. Then we will be discussing about the causes of psychological barrier. Any doubts still here? Any doubts, Abhishek? Okay, dear. So we'll end the session. We'll have the next session shortly. Bye-bye. Take care.